Hey folks, today I am going to show you 5 different ways to use the type tool in Adobe Illustrator. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Illustrator, start a new document. I'm just going to make it that standard A4 size. All right, let's get started. So my type tool, pretty simple, that big T over on the left side of your screen. So let's just start using that standard type tool. I'm going to make a text box over here just by left clicking, dragging across my screen, making a box. So this is a box. If I want to change my font, change the size of this text, I'm going to highlight it, make sure I'm still selected on that type tool. I'm going to go over here into my properties panel and I can change the size. I can change the font. I can also do something over here, which is called kerning and leading. So we're going to talk about that more later. Essentially, the space in between the letters. So now they're a little bit more spaced apart. If I had multiple lines of text, I could set the leading. That way there's a bit more space there. Can also align to the left, align to center. All this stuff should look familiar. All right, so there's my text. Let's make it a little bigger. I'm gonna go up to my selection tool. I'm gonna select my text. Maybe I want to rotate this text. So let's just try and manually rotate it. Wow, this looks kind of funky. Let's try and rotate it again. I don't know. I don't really like the manual rotation. I'm going to show you a better way. So I'm going to make sure I'm on my selection tool. I'm going to select my text. To rotate this text, I am going to go up to Object, Transform, and then I'm going to go down to the shear option. And then once I'm in shear, I'm going to make sure my preview box is checked so I can preview what is happening before I make a decision. And I can angle this text. So I could do like kind of a slight angle, could do some pretty crazy angles. I could switch it so it's tilted vertically. I can do all kinds of stuff to it. Okay, so if you want to angle your text, you're going to shear it. So again, Object, Transform, Shear is what you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and hit Cancel. So that's one thing you can do to change your text. Let's go back to our Type tool. As you can see, there's that little gray arrow in the right corner. That means the Type tool has some extra options. To get to those, I'm going to hold down the Control button on my keyboard and I'm going to click. So that's the regular type tool. Let's see what the area type tool does. So to use the area type tool, I am going to need a shape. I think rectangle is kind of boring, so I'm going to hold down that Control button, click, and I'm going to make a star. Seems pretty good size. You just click that, make it in the center. Quickly, I want to duplicate my star, so I could hold down Command C and then Command V to copy and paste it. Another easy way to quickly duplicate something in Adobe Illustrator is to hold down the Option key on your keyboard. So I'm clicking, I'm holding Option, and then you can drag something out as many times as you want. Okay, so I have 2 stars, and you'll see why in just a second. So I'm going to click on one of them. I'm going to go over to that area type tool. And let's see what happens if I click inside the shape. Oh no, I got an error. So if you are getting this error, it's because you're clicking inside of the shape. So you want to click somewhere along the path. Let's quickly click inside. Now you can type inside the shape of this star. So that makes it a little easier to see, you can type all along the path of this star. Pretty cool. Just very quickly, I'm going to change the color, make it white. Oh no, we can't see it. Let's drag it over here on top of this guy. Still can't see it. I'm going to click the shape on top and I am going to send it to the back. Ooh, now I can see all of my text on top of this shape. If I want to move this, if I just grab one piece, it only, it throws off all the alignment. So let's go back. If I want to move this whole thing together, the easiest way is going to be to select it all, and you can go down here and group it, or you could use Command G on your keyboard. That's the quick shortcut. Now I can move it together all around. All right, so that is the area type tool. Let's delete that and make another star really quick. Now let's try and use the type on a path tool. So same thing for type on a path. If I click inside the shape, it's going to give me an error. It's just a glitch in Adobe Illustrator. To use this, I need to click on the outside of the shape. And as you can see, populates text. So I can use this text tool to write all along the outside of the shape, which is pretty cool. Star. So that is how you use that type tool. I'm gonna go ahead and select it, hit delete. Let's see, the fourth tool I'm gonna show you quickly now is the vertical type tool. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Works the same way as the regular type tool. Gonna go over to my canvas, I'm gonna make a box, and now I can type vertically. Let's make this a bit bigger. That way you can see it. There we go. Now I can type vertically. Another great thing, you can go over to your selection tool and you can size up your text and make it do all kinds of weird things. So let's delete that. The final thing I'm going to show you how to do is how to do something called a text knockout. It's a little bit more complicated, but it's fairly simple. It's about 3 steps. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is switch back to a square. So to do that, I'm going to go over to my shape tool. I'm going to hold down Control on my keyboard, click on it, select that rectangle. Over on my canvas, I'm just going to make a rectangle. I don't really want it black. I want to switch the color. Let's make it something bright. So let's make it green. If you want to add a stroke, you can. But for now, I'm just going to leave it blank. All right, so I have my rectangle. Let's put some text on top of it. So I'm going to go back to my regular text tool. I'm going to hold down Control, select, and go back to my type tool. Just going to make a box directly on top of this rectangle, and there we have it. I'm going to go over to my select tool, and this is a little trick I learned recently, so I am going to put my text box pretty close, and let's see. Now I can very quickly center this. So to center this, instead of just dragging it around, an easier way to center something perfectly would be to select the box and the text. We get this nice alignment panel. So I can align horizontally and then I can align vertically, and now I have a perfectly centered piece of text. So it's kind of hard to see. I want to make sure. So let's make it a little bit bigger. Expand that text box for you. Go ahead and center it one more time. All right, so we have a rectangle. We have our text on top. So to knock out this text, we want to click on just the text, and we want to come down here and hit Create Outlines. Okay, I'm going to show you what that did in just a minute. The second part is we're going to go and we're going to select the square and the text one more time. And we are going to click minus front. So down in your Pathfinder, it's like a square over a square and minus the front. And there we have it. Now you can have that text knocked out. So we have our rectangle shape and we have that transparent text knocked out through the center. So this is called knockout text. Pretty simple. I'm going to take a couple steps back to when we created outlines. And I'm just going to show you quickly what that means to create outlines in Adobe Illustrator. So I have this text. I'm going to create outlines. I can ungroup it. And now I should be able to independently click on any of the letters. So this is pretty cool. I could make some really interesting text options by creating outlines. It essentially makes the text into its each individual shapes. So I would explore this too if I were you. So there you have it. Those are 5 things you can do with the type tool. So quick review. If I want to see all the options of my type tool, I'm going to hit Control on my keyboard and click on it. I have the type tool, the area type tool, which is when you type inside of a shape, the type on a path tool, which is when you can type on the outside of the shape. I have the vertical type tool, which is when you can type straight up and down vertically. We can knock out text in Illustrator. And then if you want to shear text, you're going to go up to Object, Transform, and then hit Shear. If you have any questions at all, or if I missed a step, please let me know. I would love to help you. All right, guys, that is all about text in Illustrator. I hope you have an awesome day.